So when you're seeing this video, much of the South is under a sheet of ice. A huge winter storm has plowed its way through. At least I would assume that's what's happened because I obviously am filming this beforehand. But when it is so frigid cold outside, all I want is warm soup. So today I'm sharing with you 5 amazing soups that are going to warm you right up. These are the best of the best, and I've got a lot of variety in here for you. So sit back and enjoy. Hopefully you have some of these ingredients on hand and you can recreate these soups while it is so cold outside. Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making. P.S. If you've been around here for a long time, you know someone special who used to be in my videos who is no longer with us. You're going to see her in these videos, in some of them, but do me a favor, leave me a little cat emoji down below. If you know, you know. Ham and potato chowder in the crock pot. It has been a minute since I have used my veggie chopper, and I don't have a ton of chopping to do today, but you know what? We're gonna use it. I'm gonna use the larger size first for my potatoes. We need 3 cups of cubed potatoes. I'm just gonna be using red, which is what I had on hand. She didn't specify. Okay, I emptied that out. I'm going to change my large blade for my smaller blade, and we're gonna dice this onion and green pepper. Okay, y'all, it is time to assemble. We only need about 1.5 cups of diced ham. I bought a package of diced ham, that's what this is, but it's definitely more than 1.5 cups, so I'm gonna not use all of it. I think we'll use the rest in omelets. I think that would be a really good use for just this little bit that's left. We need 3 cups of cubed potatoes, a can of cheddar cheese soup, a can of cream of celery soup. And I did want to add that she said she got this recipe from a magazine years ago, and she's tweaked it over the years to be exactly what they like. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not sure what magazine it was, but I love that she's been able to tweak it for their taste. The recipe calls for a can of corn. I'm just gonna use my frozen corn that is still frozen to the bottom of the bowl, my diced onion and diced green pepper, 3 to 4 cups of chicken broth, 3 if you want a thicker stew or soup, and then 4 obviously if you want it a little bit thinner. Now the recipe calls for salt, pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. All of that is in here, and it calls for about a teaspoon of each onion and garlic powder. So I'll add in a couple of teaspoons maybe of this. Now I'm just gonna give this a good stir. And this is gonna cook on low for 6 to 8 hours. And at the very end, we'll come in and add heavy cream and cheese just to thicken it up and make it like that chowder. I think she mentioned doing some crumbled bacon on top as well. Okay, it is much later in the day. It's almost time to eat. Now we're gonna add in some cheese and some heavy cream. I need 2 cups of shredded cheese, which is pretty much a block of cheese. You want some cheese? She's drooling. You want some cheese? Well, you didn't get it. Wow, that smells good already.
It does smell good.
We're about to make it better. 1 cup of heavy cream is going in. And I've already turned this off. It's just on the warm setting now. And 2 cups of shredded cheese. We're just gonna let that melt, and then it's gonna be time to eat.
Creamy, potatoey, cheesy, ham chowder.
Hammy.
Hammy. Mmm. Yes. Oh wow, that's really good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Whoa, that's really good. Get a little bit of the sour cream action going on here.
Yeah.
This is amazing. This is really, really, really good. The heavy cream is gonna make it creamy, but the cheese I think definitely adds
Oh yeah.
more creaminess to it. And then, but the flavoring of the ham, you can tell is just all in this.
Good.
So there's lots of rich flavor there, and then it's got enough salt to really bring that flavor out.
Okay.
It's really rich flavoring for sure.
But it's not overly salty.
No,
Now,
not at all.
Are you mad about the fact that I forgot to make bacon to put on top of it?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I mean, I'm sure it would add to it, but
It would, but
it's still good without.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, these are really, really heavy hitting flavors in this.
Awesome.
You need to try it.
Italian meatball soup. One of the reasons why I chose this particular one is because it uses frozen Italian meatballs. If you want to make your own meatballs, have at it. But I was really excited to see how easy this one was because it was using the frozen ones. Let me flip you around and show you everything we're gonna need. I've got my large slow cooker out today. We're gonna add in our carrots and our celery. I had 2 ribs of celery that I sliced, and it called for 3 medium carrots. I had 2 really large carrots, so that's what I used. I'm also gonna add in my onion that I diced. I also need about a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Just gonna eyeball it. Gonna add a little black pepper. 2 cans of Italian style diced tomatoes. My store only had the petite diced. I don't think it matters which one you use. I'm gonna add in my beef broth. It does say low sodium and I'm just now seeing that. So it calls for 32 ounces of beef broth. I'm gonna add, so that's 4 cups. I'm gonna add probably 3 cups. This recipe also calls for 2 cups of water. So I'm gonna increase it to 3 cups of water and use 3 cups of beef broth. I need 5 ounces of this dry red wine. I've got this bag of fully cooked meatballs, the Italian style. This is a 32 ounce bag. It only calls for 12 ounces of meatballs, so I don't even need quite half of this. And lastly, it calls for 1 bay leaf. These are really small. I'm gonna use 2 of them. Okay, this is gonna cook on low for 6 to 7 hours. And then not long before we serve it, we will put in fresh spinach and ditalini pasta. Okay, this has been cooking all day. You see it has 19 minutes left. So for 15 minutes, I'm going to put in this ditalini pasta. I've got 3/4 a cup. And I'm gonna put this in and turn it onto high and let it cook for 15 minutes just until the pasta is ready. I'm gonna go ahead and take our bay leaves out just because they're on top and I see them. We'll have to worry about it in just a little bit. Okay, in goes our pasta. Let's stir that around. And let's turn this over to high. And I'll just come back in here at 15 minutes and then we will throw our spinach in and then it'll be time to eat. Okay, it has been right at 15 minutes. It's about to turn. So it is time to take the lid off and throw our spinach in and just stir it around until it wilts. And then we're gonna be ready to eat. What you think, baby?
If it tastes anywhere close to what it smells like,
Right.
it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, it smells so good. Okay, let's eat.
That is good. Wow. Love the flavor of the soup. Those meatballs definitely enhance the flavor of the soup for sure.
It's got red wine in it too, that's cooked through all day.
It's very savory.
Yeah.
Yep, that's great flavor.
So this one's a winner.
Yep, the meatballs are really soft and that word that you don't like.
Uh-huh. I really love this one. It is not Cole's favorite, and we think it's the wine that's throwing him off because obviously the alcohol has cooked out, but it's got that rich, really rich flavor behind, and he's just not used to it, you know. He's never had wine, so it's just not his favorite. He's eating it. He says it's fine, but me and Steven really love this one. If you're enjoying these soup recipes, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my content. Now, next soup. One of our favorite meals is shepherd's pie or cottage pie. There's a difference. One is made with one certain type of meat. Anyway, we just call it all shepherd's pie here. This is a shepherd's pie soup. Y'all, this sounds divine, and we're gonna get started right now. Okay, the recipe says that we need to measure out some of our ingredients and let them sit at room temperature while we're doing everything else. And that includes sour cream. So I need 3/4 a cup of sour cream. This is a 3/4 cup measure. So let's put that here, and we're just gonna let it sit out at room temperature while we're doing everything else. The same goes with our 1/2 and 1/2. We need 2 cups of this. So I'm gonna measure that out and let it sit out too. We're also gonna go ahead and shred our cheese. We need 2 cups of cheddar cheese. And in case you're wondering, 2 cups is usually about a 1/2 block of cheese. So if you're ever wondering, a whole block will get you 4 cups of cheese. So we've got all of that. We're gonna let that sit at room temperature while we prep everything else. Okay, so we need to chop up our potatoes and put them in this pot here. We're just going to basically make mashed potatoes like normal. As far as how many potatoes you need, for this recipe, you need about 2 pounds of russet potatoes. Okay, we are going to cover these in water and boil these for 10 to 15 minutes until they're tender, and then we'll move on. We've got our potatoes on the stove. I'm gonna go ahead and chop up this onion. It's good. Thank the Lord. I'm telling you what, so many of the onions I've been getting lately have not been good. We're gonna chop up this large onion. I'm gonna use my chopper over here because it just helps so much. That was a whole lot quicker and easier. Okay, so you could definitely just use a regular skillet and then bring out your soup pot afterwards, but I'm trying to minimize how many dishes I'm having to do. So I'm just going to brown my ground beef. I've got 85% lean, 1 pound ground beef. If you are new here, every now and then we like to read comments from you guys here on screen, and we just respond to those. We call this little segment the commentator segment. Hello, commentator.
Hello.
Go ahead.
All right. This is from Larry. Said, would y'all consider adopting a 65-year-old man that would never see except at meal? I said, that
you would never.
But
see.
you would never see except at mealtime.
Sure, Larry. I thought that was so cute. It made my whole day. You're not the first one to ask that, actually, but that's really cute. Larry, he wants us to adopt him just for mealtime. I get it. I get it. We've got about 8 or 9 more minutes here. I just drained this to this plate here, so I'm just going to let this hang out. I had turned this one back off. We're going to put it back on medium, and we're going to grab 2 tablespoons of this butter and put it in the skillet and let that melt. Now into the melted butter, we're gonna add in our large onion that I diced. And we're gonna cook this until it's softened. So for maybe 5 minutes or so. I still had a little bit of grease in there from the ground beef. That doesn't matter, it just adds more flavor, it's all good. I got sidetracked and I was on the phone. Who's shocked? But you wanna add in about 3 cloves of minced garlic. You know, you just add it till it feels right. I'm gonna go with that amount and let that cook for another minute. Okay, I just drained these. I tried to show that to you and all I did was fog up but anyway, these have been drained. They're gonna sit here until I'm ready to do that, but let's go back over here. I've got a 1/4 cup of flour. We're gonna whisk this in here a little at a time. Kind of cook that through. Okay, that's been cooking for about a minute. Now, what we're gonna do is add our chicken broth. We need 4 cups, so this whole carton of chicken broth, we're gonna add it in small amounts, and just continue to whisk. Okay, we've got it all added in there. I added it slowly at first, but then towards the end, once everything was kind of broken up, I was able to add it quicker. I am turning up the heat to about medium-high because we do want this to come to a simmer here in just a minute. Before that though, we're gonna add in some more things. So just a splash or two of the Dub sauce. We need some Italian seasoning. Be careful if you have this one from Sam's Club, the lid will come off. If you remember that video, let's see, what kind of emoji can you give me below? Give me a fall leaf emoji, any color, it doesn't matter. If you remember when the lid came off of this grinder. You need about 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. We need a half a teaspoon of ground mustard. It calls for ground sage, but all I have is the rubbed sage, which is not quite as fine, but I think it'll be okay. You only need, oh, good thing, I thought this was like a shaker top. No, it's not. Good thing I looked. You only need a 1/4 teaspoon of this, so just a very small amount of sage. You don't want to overpower it. I'm going to stir all of that in. We're going to slowly add in the half and half. I've got 2 cups of it. I'm going to kind of whisk it as I go. And we want this whole thing to come up to a simmer. It was getting close to it, and then I added in this half and half, so it's going to take it a couple more minutes to come back up to temperature. So I'm going to let this come up to a simmer, and while we let that do its thing, let's go handle the mashed potatoes. Now I'm going to add in, gosh, you're welcome. I'm going to add in a tablespoon of butter. I'm not too worried about there being absolutely no lumps at all. I don't mind that in the soup. I think it'll be nice to have. So I'm just roughly mashing this. And then after I've mashed it, we're going to add in our sour cream that's been sitting out. So we had that 3/4 a cup of sour cream that's been sitting at room temperature, and let's just stir that in. So we're not adding our normal milk or cream because that's already in the soup. Okay, this has come to a boil. We are going to reduce it to a simmer. Let me stir this. I'm still zoomed in. Let me fix that. There we go. I have turned the heat down. We're just gonna let this simmer. I think it's time to add the potatoes in. Let me go check. It is time to add our potatoes in, so I've got them here. I'm gonna add them in small amounts. It says you can use an immersion blender if you really want smooth and creamy. I'm not so worried about that. I really don't mind there being some lumps in there, so that is up to you. If you want it really creamy with 0 potato lumps at all, grab your immersion blender and handle that. Okay, I want to show you what this consistency looks like right now. We're going to bring this back up to a simmer, so I'm just letting it hang out for just a minute. I'm going to grab my ground beef. We're going to add it back in. It has not come back up to a simmer, but it doesn't need to. It's just heating through. So let's add our ground beef in, hopefully not all in one clump and it splashes everywhere. Okay, there we go. And we're gonna add in a 1.5 cups of frozen mixed veggies. If you've been around for a while, you know I do not like peas, but I don't mind them in something like this. If they're in a chicken pot pie or a vegetable soup, or it's not a ton of them, I'm good. So I've got a 1.5 cups, they're still frozen, that's fine. And we're gonna stir this around and let it heat through for about 5 minutes because obviously those frozen veggies bring the temperature of the soup down a good bit. And then of course we're gonna be adding cheese, but that's at the very end. So I'll be right back. Oh, I was like, what? Stephen came in here, he said, it smells amazing in here. It reminds me of shepherd's pie. And I was like, what?
It does.
But he said, I know what you're making.
Yeah, I already know.
But I just wanted to tell y'all, I did salt and pepper this just now. I'm letting it continue to heat through. And I did make the full recipe because I'm hoping to have some leftovers that I can freeze, like I can put in a large gallon Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer. That way we have a good soup on a night where I don't feel like cooking. So now we've got 2 cups of cheddar cheese. I'm gonna add it in small amounts because I don't want it to clump together and I want it to melt pretty evenly. So I'm gonna stand here and do this for the next few minutes.
It looks really good.
It smells so good in this house.
It's one of those cozy meals. It's definitely shepherd's pie soup.
Okay, yeah, good.
You definitely get
I mean,
that.
it's got all of the elements of shepherd's pie, so.
Yeah, some would say that shepherd's pie is not with beef, but with lamb, I think.
Right.
But
I think the one with beef is cottage pie. Is that right?
Mince and tatties.
Something like that, yeah.
But anyway, this is absolutely delicious. It's almost like a chicken pot pie with the beef.
Oh.
That's kind of what I get from
Okay, I'm digging it. Yeah.
Definitely like a pie, like a
warm pie filling or
Pot pie.
pot pie filling
Yeah.
soup.
Yeah. It's so thick because of those potatoes that are mashed up in there. Mm-hmm. And then you've got that cream in there and the sour cream. Mm. Just a little hint of cheese. It's not like a cheesy type soup.
Yeah.
You can tell there's cheese in it.
There's texture in there. You got the veggies in there.
Oh, yeah.
Good texture, so you'll like that.
This is a winner. Mm-hmm. Y'all need to try this one for sure. I had never heard of this. I thought it was a pretty cool concept. I think you'll enjoy it. In case you're wondering where Steven went. What'd you say, baby?
Go backer.
It's a go backer. He's in there filling up his bowl again.
That's why I love soup.
Yeah. It's so filling, but
It's filling, but it's not,
yeah, it's not too much.
You can enjoy another round.
Oh yeah, you can. Tonight we're trying a soup using something I'm not positive I've ever used before here in our house. Lentils. We are doing the best lentil soup according to the recipe name, and it had a lot of great votes, so we're gonna give it a try and see what we think. What'd you say?
I said, hand me the. That's what this thing is.
Look at the size of these daggum carrots.
Go big or go home.
I mean, look at that. Ridiculous. So he's getting started on peeling those. We've got some celery here. We also have some onion, like half of an onion that we're gonna chop. I did grab my chopper out because I want all the sizes to be pretty uniform. So I'm gonna have to cut these down because they're huge. And cut that in half. Will both of them even fit? Not really. Okay, well, there we go. So you need about 2 cups of chopped carrots. We've got that. Now let's chop some celery. We need a couple of stalks. We've got this carrot, that lovely carrot. We're gonna chop it too. I know my veggies, I promise. Look at there. So the recipe says to use kale. I got baby kale from the grocery store. It says to dice the stems. No thank you. I'm gonna take the stems off because that's what I do. If you want to dice the stems, do it to it. I'm just choosing not to do that. Isn't that beautiful? We got rid of all them stems. Who wants to eat that? Not me. That's crazy. We've got a large Dutch oven heated to about medium heat. We're gonna add some olive oil to the bottom so we can saute our veggies. We're gonna throw in all 3. Onion, celery, carrot. Oh yeah, there's a sizzle. So let's add some salt. About 1.5 teaspoons is what we're gonna go with. We need some pepper. I think we need some more olive oil. And we need like a heaping half teaspoon of cumin and a little to grow on. There we go. Let's stir that up. Oh, you know what? We need to add that smokiness that we were planning on adding. Hang on. I have a little extra something that we're gonna add. We're gonna add smoked paprika. I'll explain that in a little bit, but just a little sprinkle just to give it some smoky flavor. Now, we're gonna let this cook for about 8 minutes, really kind of soften those veggies up. That smells so good. So we have just a few seconds left. So that means we need to get started on the next step. You want to grate your garlic directly in there. It calls for 4 cloves of grated garlic. He's just using our microplaner to do that. Oh, look at all that. He gave up on grating it. It was taking too long. So we're just going to put it in the mincer and keep rolling.
Oh, wait a minute. It'd probably be helpful if I... Hold on. How do we... Oh, okay.
You're doing it. You just
sure.
put 50 cloves in there at once.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta... Ow, burn yourself.
Oh, gosh. This is becoming a comedy hour. All right. Now, let's move on. The reason we added smoked paprika is because I didn't have any fire roasted diced tomatoes. I thought I did. So you're going to add a can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. And then we need a couple of tablespoons of white wine vinegar. We need 3/4 a cup of lentils, green lentils that we have rinsed, which I have. Now, the recipe calls for 6 cups of vegetable broth. We're gonna do 4 cups, and then we're gonna do a little something extra. For added protein and flavor, we're going with a couple of cups of chicken bone broth.
Yay!
So I'm gonna add that in as well. We went in there and grabbed 12-ish fresh sprigs of thyme. You wanna bundle them. Ours are pretty much bundled, so that's good. We're just gonna throw it in just like that. We'll turn it up close to high, and we're gonna bring this up to a simmer. So it is coming up to a boil, and we're gonna add just a few red pepper flakes in because we like a little bit of heat. Add a little bit, and we're gonna turn it down, and we're gonna let this simmer covered for about 25 to 30 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. And then those last 5 minutes, we'll throw in our kale and let it wilt down. So I'll see you back here in about 25 minutes. It is time. I wish you could smell my house right now, y'all. It's unreal. But now it is time to throw in our, you know what, let's go ahead and take the thyme out because that's gonna make it a lot easier when it's time to serve it up. It's done its job. Let's add in our kale, stir that through and just let it wilt down for 5 minutes or so. It's not gonna take long. I'm gonna pop the lid back on it and then it'll be time to eat. Hello.
Hey.
Eat. I'm starving. I want you to hurry up.
This smells delicious, man. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it really does.
Okay, here we go. Mmm. Oh, wow.
What?
Wow. That is delicious. That white or that vinegar or whatever it is that you put in there.
The white wine vinegar?
You're talking about enhancement.
Okay.
That is delicious.
It doesn't overpower it, does it?
No, it doesn't overpower it. It enhances it. Like it's definitely what you're smelling.
Okay.
Like it totally like lifts the flavors up.
It smells so good in here, y'all.
The lentils are like, they have a really soft texture to them.
Okay.
You know, just a little bit of texture, not much. The kale is cooked perfectly. It's nice and soft, but it's not like soggy.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the chunky vegetables in here too.
Okay. Are they good and soft?
Yes, you definitely get the flavor of the tomatoes. The tomatoes with like the cumin flavor, and definitely garlic, man. You're talking about some garlic flavor.
Good.
And then that vinegar just, boom!
All right.
That is delicious.
Okay. My stomach is growling. I'll be back.
Man.
It's so pretty too. The flavor.
Yeah, powerful flavors in there.
I know we added the chicken bone broth, and I'm sure that does enhance flavors, but this would be a great vegetarian soup.
Yeah,
if you
for
want to just do the vegetable broth. This is delicious.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous. It was
very strong, very bold flavors in there. It is tremendous. Highly recommend this one. And it's like, oh man, it's perfect for this cold weather too.
Oh yeah, and look at my soggy bread now.
It's gonna be good.
It is gonna be good. Okay, y'all, we are gonna make a twist on a classic in this house. If you've been around for a while, you know one of Steven's favorite soups, I think he mentioned it the other night, is cheeseburger soup. And the one I normally do that we love so much is in the crock pot. This is a little bit different, has some of the same flavors, but I'm excited to give this one a try just because it's a little bit quicker. Obviously, the crock pot one is easy to do first thing in the morning and you let it cook all day, but this one cooks in about 30 minutes. This one is a 1-pot macaroni cheeseburger soup. Let's get started by preheating this to about, I say preheating like it's an oven, heating this to about medium high. Okay, so our pot is hot. We have a hot pot. And I put in a pound of ground beef, that's lean ground beef. We're gonna add in about a teaspoon of dried oregano. And then it also calls for a teaspoon of dried thyme, but I just grabbed some thyme off of my garden and I'm gonna throw in fresh thyme. And I've got about a tablespoon of fresh. Start chopping it up. While that is browning, I'm going to chop up my other ingredients. Now it does call for carrots. I used up all of my carrots. I thought I had more and I don't. So feel free to use about a cup of sliced carrots. I'm going to slice up this celery. You know what, that's probably enough. I'm gonna save the rest of that because we need about a cup and that's really close to being a cup. However, I know we don't have the carrots, but I'm gonna go with that amount of celery. I don't want it too overpowering. I also need to dice this half of an onion. You could do a whole onion. I'm just using what's left in my fridge of this one because I don't want it to go to waste. We do need to shred a block of cheese, an 8-ounce block. I have about half here. This is sharp cheddar cheese and that's what it calls for. I'm gonna be out after this half, so I'm gonna use the rest of it as Colby Jack. It's just, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what, I thought this was Colby Jack. It's just Colby. I don't think I've ever gotten just Colby. I always get Colby Jack. Interesting. I looked at it, I was like, where's the white? Because, you know, that's the Monterey Jack. part with the white part. Okay, well, we're just going with Colby. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but we're going with it. Cheese monster. There, she's chowing down, don't worry. All right, let's go back over to the stove and check on our ground beef. We're gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper to our ground beef as it's finishing up. Okay, now that this is done, we're gonna remove the ground beef for now. So that's just gonna hang out over here. And now let's add some things to this pot. 6 tablespoons of butter. To our butter, we're gonna add our onion and our celery. If you had carrots, you would add them at this point too. We're gonna add a large pinch of salt. And we are gonna let these cook for about 10 minutes. We really want them super soft. And there was still just a tiny bit of grease in there too from the hamburger or the ground beef. So it's gonna have a lot of flavor. Now we need to add in some garlic. I think it calls for 5 cloves. So I'm getting towards the bottom of this, so it's gonna take me just a second, but we're gonna add that in and cook that for another minute or so. And we're also gonna add in a little more oregano too. So about another teaspoon of oregano is going in. It does call for some more time, but I had forgotten to grab more time, so we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna let this cook for another minute and fog you guys up, and I'll be right back. I forgot I had some dried thyme on hand, so I threw in some dried thyme. Now it calls for, ma'am, it calls for 4 tablespoons of butter or flour, but I don't have the carrots, so I don't know that I will need all 4 tablespoons. So I'm gonna do a couple of tablespoons and just see how this goes. We're gonna coat these really good in the flour and cook it for about a minute. We'll add a 3rd tablespoon, how about it? All right, let's let that cook for a minute. Would you like some more cheese? Well, come on. You got to come on. Oh, we are so excited. Okay. Oh, did you get it? It fell into your fur, baby. I'm not kidding. I'm trying to get it out of your fur. Honey, you gotta let me get it. There. You're welcome. There you go. At this point, if you need to, you can deglaze your pan. I'm using these caraway pots, so you really don't get a lot of crust or anything on the bottom. But you would deglaze your pan with just a little bit of chicken broth. I don't really need to do that, so we're just gonna add in all the chicken broth. This does call for a lot of chicken broth because we are gonna be cooking macaroni in here. Why is it coming out so slowly? Oh, because it didn't pierce the thing very well. Hold please, success. Okay, we're gonna be adding in about 8 ounces of macaroni, so you need a lot of liquid, obviously. So we're adding in 8 cups of chicken broth, so 2 full containers. Okay, so at this point, we need this to come up to a boil. I think, though, it said to go ahead and add in the macaroni. Let me check that, but I'm gonna turn this up just a tad. Get a little bit higher of a heat. Yeah, normally you would wait until it comes to a simmer, but it says to add another pinch of salt. So I'm gonna do a small pinch of salt and a little bit of pepper. Okay, I added our pepper. And then you need 8 ounces of uncooked macaroni noodles. So let's add that in. And it says to bring this up to a simmer. So I totally forgot to show y'all, but once it came up to a simmer like this, I turned it down to about medium heat and we let it cook for about 5 to 7 minutes. It's been about 8 minutes now. I'm gonna check and make sure our noodles are al dente. They should be. So let me do that. They are, so let's remove this from the heat for now. And we are gonna stir in 1 cup of heavy cream as well as our 8 ounces of shredded cheese. I'm gonna add that in by hand and throw it all over the top of the stove. I am really just throwing, all I'm doing is just throwing cheese out everywhere. That's what's happening. Now the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of white balsamic vinegar. I don't have that. I just have regular balsamic vinegar, so you just gotta do what you gotta do. But apparently this really just helps the flavor so much, just a teaspoon. So let's add that in, stir that around, and we're gonna add our ground beef back in and we're gonna put it back over on the eye over here on medium. You know what? If I do this one-handed, it's gonna be a disaster. I'll be back. Okay, I added the ground beef back in and I've slid it back over here onto the eye. and we're just gonna let this heat through on medium for just a couple of minutes. It looks like all of our cheese has melted, which is great. Oh my stars, this is gonna be so good. I wish I could smell this. There's a little bit of cheese that still hasn't melted, so we'll let this hang out. I'll be back. So, this is a different cheeseburger soup.
It is. It looks really good too.
It smells really good.
It's got some creaminess to it, looks like.
It does.
Oh yeah. That's really good. It's similar, but man, there's some flavor in this soup that it's almost got some herbs in here or something.
It does. It has oregano and thyme in there. But apparently, you know what the secret ingredient is at the very end?
What's that?
A teaspoon of balsamic vinegar.
Really?
Yeah.
It definitely has a very unique flavor to it. It's really good. It's got a lot of herb flavor, but I can see how that balsamic vinaigrette had a little something interesting in there.
Yeah.
It's got an interesting flavor to it. Delicious. I mean, really, really good. Yeah, we haven't had anything quite like this that would be called like a cheeseburger soup or whatever, you know.
Okay. This looks so good. Ma'am, you already had a good bit of cheese.
This is really, really
Don't
good.
lie. Even off camera, you had cheese. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna dig in. I've got some of these croutons. These are garlic butter croutons that I added. And then we've got some sliced green onion on top. So Steven says it gets better and better every time you take a bite, and he is not wrong.
It's really good.
Ma'am, that is enough. No, you got to get down. I'm trying to film, honey. It's a contender to be up there with the other cheeseburger soup that I made.
Yeah, it's definitely.
So what I'm getting is you really can't go wrong with cheeseburger soup.
That's right.
But I'm letting my croutons kind of soften before I eat those. But I do highly recommend this. Oh my word, it's so delicious, so creamy and cheesy. He's right, you can taste the herbs, but it's not overpowering, but you can taste them. And it's just so much flavor. So this is a winner. Thank y'all for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. Please stay warm. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what type of wintry weather y'all got. And I will see you on Friday. Bye y'all.